This is Bill Newman, WHMP.
And this is NPR, Northampton Poetry Radio, with our own Poet Laureate, Rich Michelson. Rich.
I come in just for that intro, I tell you. That's the best part of the whole thing. Not really. So we have an incredible weekend of poetry coming up for people in this area. It's amazing. You're not going to be able to leave your house in Northampton and Amherst, anywhere in the Pioneer Valley, without running into poets, hearing poetry. It's great. Starting Friday evening at the Emily Dickinson House. We're going to start reading every one of Emily's poems. Is that right? I have Michael Medeiros, who is with the Emily Dickinson House.
That is true. All 1,789 of Emily Dickinson's poems will be read over 3 days.
And can people
Seriously?
come and just read?
Wait a second, just stop there for a second. How many poems over 3 days?
1,789.
Are they going to be read it simultaneously? Or
all at one time, a big cacophony
It starts
of poetry.
Friday night. It goes through all day Saturday and Sunday morning.
Yep.
Now, can anybody come and read one of her poems?
Anyone can come and read.
Do you have 1,000 poets lined up? Because there are that many in Amherst, I think, just in South Amherst alone.
You can either register on our website at the EmilyDickinsonMuseum.org, or you can just show up, be ready to read a poem, grab a poetry bib, because it is a marathon. You need your marathon bib to participate.
And it is passive. And do you have to wait for the next person to come before you can leave the stage? In other words, it's like a tag team.
There's no stage. You're in a circle in Emily Dickinson's parlor, so you're in the space where she wrote them.
Fantastic. Isn't that great? And at the same time that this is happening, we have contemporary poets are going to be reading all day Saturday, all day Sunday. I myself am reading at 11 o'clock on Saturday, and on Sunday at noon there'll be a panel with myself, Martina Spada, at the Emily Dickinson House, and Doug Anderson. And this is what a great host I am. At the same time that I'm reading, I bring into the radio my competition. Karen Schofield will also be reading at noon. So
we're going to duke it out.
Both at the Emily Dickinson House?
Yes.
Yes, I'll be at Sweetser Park, right? So I'll be right next. Oh, I'll be at the Emily Dickinson House too.
We're working it out right now, where everybody's going to be standing. It depends who talks louder.
There's a lot going on.
So I will be on a panel about poetry and loss, and you'll be reading some of your own poems.
Yes.
And then later in that evening, erotic poetry.
Oh, yes.
Let's talk about that. I knew Bill was going to jump in right there.
That's good because, yes, so that night from 8 to 10 p.m. at the Monkey Bar in downtown Amherst, we're going to have two luscious...
Erotic poetry and booze?
luscious hours.
Wow.
The Monkey Bar has even created two special erotically themed drinks for us.
Sex on the beach.
One is called Dirty Dickinson. The other one, for those who know poetry well, is called the Sextina, which is modeled after a poetic form called the Sestina.
All right. So the question is, are we going to get more people to our poetry and loss or to the poetry and erotics? It will be interesting. We will take a tally. So I just want to make sure, because this is a pretty short session, let's get some poetry in here, okay? So,
sure.
Karen, read us a poem from your book, which was a finalist for the Massachusetts Book Award.
It was, and it
Congratulations.
won the 2014 Penn New England Award.
Oh, that's great. So we are going to have Karen back another time to talk about her work in general, but let's give you a poem right now.
Great. This is called Art Project Earth, and for anyone who's had kids with all of their art stuff coming home in piles, you'll recognize this. Balloon, then paper mache, gray paint, blue and turquoise, green, a clouded world with fishing line attached to an old light, original to the house, faux brass chipping, discolored, an ugly thing. What must the people of this planet think? The ground knobby and dry, the ocean's blue powder, the farmland stiff and carefully maintained. Sometimes they spin one direction, then back again. How the coyotes howl, how the people learn to love regardless. The majesty of their own towering hearts. The mountains, which they agree are beautiful. And the turquoise, never has there been such a color breaking into precious and semi-precious stones. They build houses from them, grand places of worship, and there is much to worship. Look up, for instance, 6 suns, the wonder of it. First one, then the next, eclipsing the possibility that their world hangs by a thread.
Karen Schofield, you are listening to NPR, Northampton Poetry Radio, on WHMP, The Bill Newman Show. This weekend at the Emily Dickinson House, all day Saturday. Sunday, you're going to hear poets, Ellen Dory Watson, James Tate, Doug Anderson. Karen is reading at noon. I am reading at 11 with a panel at noon. And I have to add as well that if you are on this side of the river, Paradise Found is a walking and biking tour of poetic places in Northampton. They are having their book launch also this Saturday. They will be at the Amherst Poetry Festival as well. There is going to be a stage with all the small presses, area presses. They will be there. And then at 2 o'clock, they will be starting a walk at the Lyman Plant House, walking through Northampton. Poets will be reading their poems of the place that they are in front of. So somebody's going to read a poem about the Lyman Plant House at 2. They'll walk through Northampton and end at 4 o'clock at the R. Michelson Galleries with a poetry reading from the anthology Paradise Found. So that is this Saturday. Then you run back to Amherst. You catch the end of that day. You get the erotic poetry at night. This is going to be a fun weekend. Michael, how did all this happen?
It's a collaboration between the Emily Dickinson Museum and the Amherst Business Improvement District. They the bid came up with it last year, and we did an 8-day event throughout in September of 2013. This year, we decided to bring it just to 3 days and fill it up completely.
Well, it is filled up. You are going to have 2 or 3 stages going on. It's like a circus.
So, Michael Maderas, tell us, where do people get more information if they want to check out the schedule and the poets and who's coming and that sort of thing?
They can go to amherstpoetfest.tumblr.com. That'll have our complete schedule for Saturday, Sunday, and Friday.
And Rich, is there a website people can go to get more information on what's happening here in Northampton on the Poetry Walk?
Paradise Found has a Facebook page, and if you look at that, you'll get a sense of who's reading, who they're walking from. It's going to be a great weekend. We live in a great place, don't we?
It's amazing. And that's an amazing lineup of poets. I mean, these are world-renowned poets who are coming to this. How did you get them all?
We just reached out to the community. We wanted to focus on Western Massachusetts poetic population because we have such an amazing community here. You don't find this in many places, and so where better to celebrate that than on Emily Dickinson's back lawn?
With that, you have another edition of NPR, Northampton Poetry Radio. We're hoping to see people this weekend. Come on out. It's going to be fun. Be there.